All right, welcome back to Functional Core Fitness. My name is Omar and welcome to a new video series. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the last video series, which was the ladder video series. If you guys haven't checked it out, please go check it out. It is a beginner's ladder, agility ladder in all three planes of motion. Check it out. All right, so today we are going to start with the stick mobility sticks. Now, we are not going to get too in-depth using the sticks today, so any stick will help. But in the future, when I make the next videos, we're really going to utilize the stick mobility. Now, what is a stick mobility? Just the stick. That's all it is. But the good news is it's a stick that is flexible. Now, the flexibility of the stick allows the athlete or the person using it to get into certain movements or certain positions that is extremely difficult to get into, but the stick and the flexibility of the stick help those movements. Now, is it just about helping the flexibility and the movements? Not necessarily. There's a lot more benefits. The most important benefit of using the stick or the stick mobility is the increase of neuromuscular demand. Neuro meaning the brain, muscular meaning the muscles. The communication between the brain and the muscles in the new range of motion or flexibility or position that you're looking to achieve. Now, we can do flexibility without the stick, but a lot of times you're just going to be hanging in that position, not necessarily strengthening the muscles in that new position or the new flexibility range that you're looking for. So with the stick, there's constant feedback and there's always going to be some type of push-pull, and that push-pull is that neuromuscular demand. So today, it is going to be a beginner's guide using the stick. Again, today you can use a stick, you can use a wall. It doesn't really matter today. What we're working on is the communication of our body parts that we're working on. We're going to be focusing on the ankles, number one. Number two, we're going to be focusing on the hips. Number three, we're going to be focusing on the trunk for rotation or focusing on rotation. And then we will focus on the shoulders. Beginner's guide. We're going to be in a stationary position. We're not going to be too dynamic today. Actually, not at all. We're going to be in one position. Let's begin. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on each joint for 1 minute. Okay. Now, what we're working on is waking up muscles. So this would be a great video to do first thing in the morning before you start your day. That way you can activate a lot of the sleeping muscles that are just waking up in the morning, or just the underactive muscles that don't get activated due to our posture that we have day to day. All right, so we're gonna start off with the ankles first. Let me explain first what we're looking for. Now, the movement or the position, just the beginning position, we're looking for feet shoulder width apart. We want our toes facing forward, and we want the stick out in front of us, arms distance away. We want the stick mid-line of our body. Now, the position that we're going to get into is the horse position. Now, when we're in this position, what we want to do is maintain contact with the stick, applying pressure downward. Now, the downward pressure should not be 100%. What we're looking for is 10 to 15%. If you can see the mat that I'm on, when I push down, there should just be a little dimple. It should not be All my pressure or my weight should not be going into the stick. Again, 10-15%. My arms are going to be straight. Now the purpose of pushing the stick onto the floor constantly or throughout the whole time that we're stretching is to prevent any type of shoulder elevation. So when I start pushing into the ground, I start activating my lats. When I activate my lats, that will push my shoulder down and will avoid any type of, again, shoulder elevation. So we want to really focus on those muscles that are non-active. When we usually stress in the shoulders, we're in front of computers all day, so the shoulders become very dominant. So now we're going to wake up these lat muscles to drive the shoulders down. So that's number one. Number two, our position. We want to make sure that our hips are in alignment with my shoulders. So I don't want to be in a anterior pelvic tilt, nor do I want to be in a posterior pelvic tilt. I want to make sure that my hips are in between those two positions. All right, let's begin. We're going to start with the ankles first. We will do 1 minute, and then we'll just slowly work our way up. We should be done within 9 to 10 minutes. All right, here we go. Horse position, shoulders down, pushing the stick onto the ground. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my heels up as high as I can. I want to drive my heels upward, pushing off with the balls of my feet off the floor, still maintaining downward pressure onto the stick. Now if you notice, my feet are facing forward. I'm driving off my whole ball of my foot or my whole forefoot. So in other words, the part that's under my big toe and under my pinky toe are touching the floor. I'm not tilted in any way. Now, I want to make sure that I exhale as I elevate my heels. As I come down, I inhale. Good. Perfect. Nice. Take a little bit of a breather. That is just the activation of your calves in a linear or in a sagittal plane, right? We're going up and down. We're not going side to side. We're definitely not going in rotation. Now, let's focus on the rotation. Okay, so same thing with the stick, horse stance position. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lean or rotate my body, pushing off the balls of my feet. My hips are pretty much in a stable position. I'm not moving too far off the center line. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 30 seconds in one direction and 30 seconds the opposite direction. So now I'm going to the opposite direction. Notice that my heels come up off the ground. I'm on the balls of my feet and I'm really driving from my pinky toe all the way to my big toe. Make sure that we breathe. Okay, one last one. Perfect. Good. Ankles should be nice and activated, right? Calves are burning, the shins should be burning. That's okay. We're waking up these muscles. All right, now we're going to go to the hips. Same position of that horse stance position. I want to make sure that my hips are in a neutral alignment. I'm applying pressure downward. And now I'm going to start tilting my hips. Anterior, right? If my hips were a bucket of water, I'm going to be pouring the water from the front. Now I'm going to start pouring the water from the back. I inhale as I pour the water from the front. Exhale as I pour the water from the back. Now, when I inhale, I'm expanding my stomach. And when I posterior pelvic tilt, I'm squeezing my abdominals, squeezing my glutes, pushing the air out with the activation of my muscles. Basically doing is a standing cat-cow. 10 seconds. Beautiful work. All right. So now we're going to focus on rotation or rotations of the hips. We're going to go 30 seconds one direction, 30 seconds the opposite direction. Same position, one hand on top of the other. Okay. I'm in my horse stance position. I'm in a neutral alignment, right? My shoulders are down. I'm pushing the stick down to the ground. Now let's rotate the hips in a circular motion. Every time or wherever my hips rotate towards, activate those muscles. So I'm squeezing my abdominals and my glutes as I circle forward with my hips. Okay, now let's go backwards or the opposite direction. So now I'm going counterclockwise. And if you're having a hard time rotating your hips, no worries. Pause it and just practice. Done. Nice. Go ahead and rest. Now we're only doing 2 planes of motion. We're doing sagittal and transverse. We're not doing the frontal, the side to side, because it's added in there when I do my transverse. And it's our first day. When we progress, we'll do a lot more difficult movements. All right, back to my horse stance position. I'm going stick behind the back about shoulder height. Chest height. Now I'm gonna rotate without the hips first. What I'm looking for is the separation between my hips, which are facing 12 o'clock, and my chest that's facing, well at this point, 11 o'clock or 10 o'clock. 2 o'clock, 10 o'clock. Ideally, like to have your eyes facing 12 and not forgetting to inhale and exhale. Exhale as you rotate, inhale as you go back to the center line. Now, also, I didn't mention that I'm looking to push or pull the stick apart. So I'm looking for, perfect, done, me to pull the stick outward, activating those muscles inside the chest and in the upper body. So don't forget to pull them apart. Now, the second one, I'm adding the rotation of my hips and my chest as far as I can. Again, don't forget to exhale. I'm not moving my feet. Are planted, my abdominals are nice and tight. I'm pulling the stick apart with my hands. I'm also not elevating my shoulders. Make sure that you keep the shoulders downward and push or pull apart. Keeping the stomach nice and tight. My hips and my shoulders are rotating. Again, focusing on those rotating muscles in the spine. Especially if you're doing this when you wake up in the morning, you're gonna be nice and stiff from sleeping in one position all night. This is a good way to loosen your body up. Done. Perfect. All right, the last one of the rotation is going to be incorporating a pivot. Now, when I pivot, I'm pivoting, keeping one foot at 12 o'clock and the other foot, preferably a 90-degree turn. So I bring my stick behind my back once again, get into that horse position, keeping my shoulders down. I'm gonna start pulling the stick apart, and now I'm going into a full rotation with a pivot. Now, when I come back to my starting position, without looking, I should be able to get as close to 12 o'clock as I can with my foot, right? If I am really off and my foot is pointing outward and I look at it, then my perception is off. I gotta really make sure that my muscles are communicating to my brain what position I want to be in. Okay, remember, don't forget to breathe. I'm still pulling the stick apart. I exhale as I go into my rotation. As I come back to the center line, I inhale. Boom, perfect. All right, now we're moving up. We're going to the shoulders. So now I'm gonna get right back into my horse stance position, okay? Now when I swing my arms upward, I'm pulling the stick apart with my hands. As I come back down, once I get to about eye level, I'm gonna push the stick inward. So it should look like this. I'm pulling apart, I'm lifting the stick up as high as I can, preferably above my head, without deactivating my glutes, my abdominals, and my neutral position. Now that I'm in about eye level, I'm pushing the stick inward. Ideally, I'd like to inhale as I bring the stick up above my head, and then exhale as I bring the stick down. Inhale on the way up, pull the stick apart, and exhale as I start pushing the stick inward. Last one. Inhale nice and deep. Exhale as I come down. Perfect. Nice. All right. Now the rotation of the shoulders are going to be, I'm going to hold on to the stick, get into that same horse stance position, and I'm going to go around the body, starting with the hand or the stick eye level. I'm pushing the stick inward. Okay, I'm going to go into a vertical position, right? Increase the width depending on how flexible or not flexible you are. We're going to come all the way down and around. Make sure you go all the way down to the lower back and all the way around. Pushing the sticks in, and then as I go behind me, I'm pulling the stick apart, pushing the stick inward, going around. Make sure that the stick goes around the body. We're not moving the body to make the sticks work. So the body stays stationary. Allow the flexibility of the shoulders to perform the movement. Now the opposite direction. I'm inhaling. I want to inhale as I bring the stick up behind my body. Exhale as the stick goes in front of my body. I want to make sure that I maintain activation of my abdominals. I'm still maintaining my glute activation. Everything in my core and in my hips are activated. They're not released. Okay, so very, very important. Maintain activation. Coming up into 10 more seconds. Push in, activate, and done. Beautiful, beautiful work. Again, for beginners. This is just the beginning. We will get more advanced starting next week, but I wanted to wake up some muscles first before we start getting into the harder things with the stick. I hope you enjoyed the stick mobility work. I do want to shout out to Coach Ray Bailey for influencing me and influencing this workout. So if you have a chance, check out Coach Ray Bailey on stick mobility on YouTube, and he has tons and tons of videos with the stick. Hope you enjoyed today's workout, and we'll see you next week.